Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you just give us your initial reaction when you first heard they were thinking about this?
Well, it was, I was shocked, you know, to find out, I mean, to look back at what's happened in the last 24 hours is incredible. So, you know, you go through a whole bunch of emotions. Very unexpected, and at the same time, to get a chance to play with Shaquille O'Neal is pretty exciting.
How does he make you better?
Well, I mean, if you look at all the areas we're not very good at, you know, he adds a lot to those areas. You know, he's an experienced champion. He's got the size that we've always lacked. He can defend the post, which is something we've been weak. And he can rebound and block some shots. So he kind of potentially fills a lot of holes for us.
Steve, despite all the questions that have always been around, you guys have had so much success. Everybody knows what happened in Game 5 last year. If you were struggling this year, it was a pretty high level. Does it seem to you like you guys are becoming something else, and that's a big risk?
Well, I mean, there's no doubt that the jury's out, and we'll see how this works. But I mean, it's pretty tough to pass up a chance at a player like Shaq. I mean, you know, I know there's a lot of varying opinions, and I think a lot of people's perception of him right now may not be where it should be. So this is a great opportunity for him to show where he truly is, and a great opportunity for us to have the type of player we've never had.
Is it time to change tack, Steve? Did you go as far as you could go with the way that you were playing?
No, I think that we could have won the other way. I think we've had some unlucky breaks, and this year I think was no different than the past. We had a shot at it. I think that it's just an opportunity to add a piece like that's very rare. So, you know, I think we're still going to run. I think we're still going to do a lot of the same things. But obviously, we got to try to incorporate and make him as good as he can be in our system, because he's a special player.
What do you say to people who say he doesn't have much left in the tank? What makes you believe he does?
No, I just think that he's a winner, and I think he's got a lot of pride, and I think you know, he likes to show people what he can do. I think you know, I'm excited to see it firsthand. I didn't speak to him last night. I saw him today briefly. Yeah, I think we've got a really unselfish team. So, you know, I think you see Shaq wasn't shooting the ball a ton in Miami, and you know, I don't think he's going to come in here expecting to get 20 shots up a game, and we're losing, you know, a guy who took 13 shots or so a game. So, you know, I think in that respect, it's not a big deal. Mm-hmm. Well, I think, you know, where Sean would be sorely missed is his versatility defensively. You know, he's fantastic at the different players he can cover, and the amount of court he can cover with his quickness and athleticism. And you know, it's always sad to see a teammate go. You know, I'm a big fan of Sean's, and I want to see him do well, and you know, hopefully we'll be friends forever. And it's sad when you see a teammate go, but you know, Shaq's a pretty formidable finisher in his day, so I'm excited about that.
We've heard so much in the past year, and you included, that the joy around here has been missing sometimes. What will throwing Shaq in that locker room do?
Well, I think the big Aristotle is going to be fun for us. You know, he's got a great personality. He's probably one of the most exciting, charismatic players we've had in this league in a long time. So, and hopefully he's as excited to be here as, you know, as it sounds and as we are. And I think that'll give everyone a big lift.
You guys need that freshness?
I don't think we need, but I think it's exciting to have that, to have, you know, someone come in and shake things up is great, but to have someone like Shaquille come in and shake things up is a totally different thing, and I think a lot of people would love to have that charisma and energy in their locker room.
When you guys spoke today, what did he say to you? How excited was he?
He was excited. You know, I had to get home and eat and sleep because we had an early shoot around, so I just waited to say hello, and you know, he seems determined and ready to roll. So, I think that's all I needed to hear, and I can't wait for him to get acclimated and start to feel comfortable in his new surroundings and kind of make sense of all this that's happened so quickly, so that he can really focus on helping us become better. Yeah, I didn't get enough one-on-one time with him yet, but maybe if I see him again tonight, I can bring that up. Yeah, absolutely.
Steve, people have been talking about the running, but the bread and butter has always been the pick and roll with Amari. Is there going to be room for that with him there? How do you see that breaking down late in games?
I think it's it gives us more options. With him in the pick and roll or with him ducking on the weak side, I think it's a whole nother variable for teams to deal with, and it'll be exciting to see how that plays out.
Steve, you've heard about all the skepticism this move is being met with. You're telling me there's a completely different mindset on the team and nobody has any questions?
I think deep down probably there's guys who have doubts. All of us have got to figure this out together. Nothing's guaranteed, but there's definitely a lot more excitement and optimism in our locker room, predominantly excitement and optimism. So, I don't know. I got to think some of us in that locker room know a little bit about basketball.
How long do you think the period of adjustment's going to be? Obviously, you got Shaq in the middle. Amari coming back.
That's tough to say. The whole thing is one big adjustment that could continually evolve for however many years we all play together. So, hopefully we have a reasonable level of cohesion in the next week or 10 days, but, we're probably going to be coming together for a long time, and that's good. I think it's exciting to have that challenge ahead of us.
Is there a sense of regret? You didn't get a chance, as you mentioned, last 2 years injuries.
Yeah.
You didn't get a chance to see this system take all the way. Is there a sense of regret? I think Mike sense that.
Yeah. I think we were all excited to have another shot at after what happened last year, but like I said, to have an opportunity to add a player of his caliber is incredible. So, you quickly weigh the two and say, this is a chance that you got to take.
If it doesn't work, he's on the books for a lot of money. There's some considerable downside of this as well. It's a key part of.
Yeah. Well, what can I say? There's downside and risk to everything, and I know that's going to be a favorite talking point for a lot of media, but our favorite talking point is that we've got an incredible, huge, talented, charismatic player in our locker room now. So we're going to try to bring the best out in him, and traditionally in his career he's made everyone around him better too. So it sounds like it could be a lot of fun. Well, I just think we need a little lift. We probably could improve our chemistry. Maybe we've been a little self-critical this year to a fault, and at some point I think there needs to be a healthy balance between being excited and having a spirit about us, and at the same time holding each other accountable. And I don't think that balance, for the most part, had been in the right equal parts this year. So I think this is potentially really good in that area as well.
During the offseason, Sean said he didn't feel appreciated and wanted to trade. Came back and said, there was no hard feelings or things. Do you think deep down that maybe there was still a sense that from him that he wasn't being appreciated enough, and maybe
Yeah, I think you have to ask him, really. I can't really speak for him, but he didn't have a happy summer. So, would it have been a similar summer this summer? Would we have been back at square one? I don't know. So you have to ask him, but I guess that's not for us anymore.